Shalom, welcome to the Jewish Task Force, JTF. My name is Chaim ben Pesach. On a previous program, we spoke how we of the Jewish Task Force can take over Israel if only we had the proper resources. But can we take over the United States of America? First of all, let me clarify something about taking over America. We Jews do not aspire, we Kahanist Jews, supporters of Harab Meir Kahana Zecher Tzadik Livracha Hashem Yikom Damo, whose picture you see in the background, we do not aspire to have power or to take over the United States of America. We only want power in our homeland, the land of Israel. We're not supposed to hold office or have any power here, even though there are a lot of Jewish politicians in America. There shouldn't be. They're violating Jewish law. Jews don't belong in America. They belong in Israel. And nobody should support Jewish politicians. You should never vote for a Jewish politician. So we have no aspiration to have any political power here. But we do want our Kahanist Gentile brothers and sisters to take over. Righteous Gentiles, right-wing righteous Gentiles, Bible-believing righteous right-wing Gentiles. We do want them to take over. And we would help them. We would help them if we were in power in Israel. So our first goal is to take over in Israel, because Israel is a country of 5 million Jews. It's easier to take over there. If we had the money and the resources, we would take over there first. And then once we became the Israeli government, we would be able to fund a real right-wing righteous Gentile movement in America. And our right-wing righteous Gentile movement in America would have a real chance of taking over the United States of America and saving the United States of America. Because if a fully funded right-wing righteous movement came onto the political scene now, instead of the phony, hypocritical, full of baloney pseudo-conservatives of talk radio and Fox and all the other ditto heads and doo-doo heads and people in the no-spin zones and all the other phony hypocrites, if they weren't controlling the conservative movement, and instead you had real, genuine, right-wing American patriots, Bible-believing patriots in charge, they could take over. And I'll tell you why. The American people, the majority of the American people, really are worried about the future of the country, about the direction of the country. The vast majority of Americans do not agree with their government, do not agree with either political party on the major issues of the day. Now, we support the Republicans as the lesser of the evils, over the Democrats, but the lesser of the evils are still evil. And our goal, right now, we have no choice. We have to vote Republican for president next year. But make no mistake about it. If we had resources and became a mass movement, we would take over the Republican Party. And we could do it, because the vast majority of Republican primary and caucus voters are very much against the illegal aliens and the invasion of the United States by third world people who are destroying America's character forever. The majority of Republicans and the majority of Americans are against this policy, completely against this policy. The vast majority of Americans want all of the illegal aliens rounded up and thrown out of the United States. They're here illegally, they should be thrown out. The vast majority of Americans agree with us on that, and there's a complete disconnect between the corrupt, phony, hypocritical, lying, cheating political whores in Washington and the American people on that issue. Just like there's a complete disconnect on foreign aid. 90% of the American people are against foreign aid, and we're against foreign aid. The corrupt political whores in Washington that keep giving away hundreds of billions of American dollars, and it's hundreds of billions of American dollars, because it's not just the foreign aid appropriation bill itself, but it's the loans to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and UN agencies and all other types of subsidizing that goes on. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and we give it to America's worst enemies. We're against giving it even to America's friends like Israel. It doesn't help the friends of this country to give out foreign aid. We're against foreign aid, and the American people are overwhelmingly against foreign aid, but the politicians in Washington are for foreign aid. We're against a policy that keeps us addicted to oil. We should not be addicted to oil. We are funding our own destruction. We're digging our own graves by giving trillions of dollars to Muslim Nazi terrorist nations like Saudi Arabia and Iran that are committed to our destruction. We are digging our own graves. This is insane. We are funding a Muslim population boom. The Muslims in 30, 40 years are going to be the majority of the world's population if this continues. And this is only made possible because we're giving them so much money that it's subsidizing their population boom. If not for this, they'd be starving. They wouldn't be able to have this huge population increase. Hundreds of millions of Muslim babies are being born because of the fact that we're addicted to oil. They wouldn't be able to do this if we weren't addicted to oil. This is insane. And then we're welcoming them into the United States, millions of Muslim aliens are coming into the United States legally and illegally. This is national suicide. The American people overwhelmingly agree with us that we need to kill our addiction to oil and end that addiction once and for all and develop alternative sources so that we're not dependent upon our enemies. The vast majority of the American people would want to see that, but the multinational corporate billionaire traders that really run the United States government from behind the scenes deliberately keep us addicted and are increasing our addiction to foreign oil. And there shouldn't be addiction to any oil. We should get out of oil because we should render oil worthless. Then the Arabs and the Muslims will have nothing to hold over us, and Islam will decay as a threat. Islam will no longer be a threat to anybody without oil. And the American people overwhelmingly want to return to traditional moral values. They're sick of the dirt and the decay and the filth and the slime out of Hollywood and the Bolshevik news media. The American people want to be patriotic. They want to believe again. They want to salute their flag again. They want to sing the national anthem again. They want to believe in what the Founding Fathers taught us instead of teaching us that the Founding Fathers were bad men because they had slaves and all this other crap, politically correct crap that's being taught. The American people want an end to this. We can do it if we become a mass movement. It's doable. Most Americans do agree with us on the basic principles that we espouse. Most Americans are against affirmative action, as we are, against foreign aid, as we are, against our addiction to oil, as we are. Most Americans understand now that we made a mistake in going into Iraq, that the real enemy was always Iran, and you don't occupy a country like Iran. You just bomb them from the air, and not a single American would be lost. The probability is we wouldn't lose a single American soldier. Several weeks of bombing over the air, we could destroy their nuclear program, and that would make us safer. Instead of this insane, lunatic war in Iraq that has cost us so many lives and so much money, trying to build democracy among savages. The fact is that the American people would respond to our message if we could just reach them. And if we get into power in Israel, we'll have the resources to build a movement and reach them. Because if I were Prime Minister of Israel, we would fund a movement that would reach them with that message. And so I ask you, if you agree with us that we should end all foreign aid, the vast majority of which goes to the sworn enemies of the United States, and if you agree with us that we should end all foreign immigration into the United States from third world countries that are destroying the United States, and that we should remove the illegal aliens who are here illegally and who are destroying the demographic character of America and secure our borders right now. If you agree with us that we should end affirmative action, racist discrimination against whites and Jews and Asians and other people who achieve. If you agree with us that we should return to the traditional moral foundations and principles of the Founding Fathers that made this a great nation to begin with. If you agree with us that we should return to and stop apologizing and stop being ashamed of the great patriotic values that made America what America was meant to be. If you agree with us that we should get off our addiction to oil and that we should develop, and we have the brain power and the technological know-how, we can do it. We can develop enough alternatives to foreign oil and to all oil in order to render oil worthless and in order to put us on the march to putting the Muslim oil blackmailers out of business now and forever. If you agree with us that these are worthy goals, and if you want this type of movement to become stronger because you understand that the stronger we become, the better it is for America, if you agree with us, then you should join with us. You see the address of our website. This is the address of our forum. The Kahanas Gentiles. Kahanas Gentiles, supporters of Rabbi Kahana who are not Jewish, because we don't want Jews. Jews should not have any power in America. Jews belong in Israel. But our Kahanas Gentile brothers and sisters, they should be taking over America to make America what America was destined to be. And all the things we've spoken about on this video in the past 9 minutes or 10 minutes, all the things we've spoken about must happen if America is to be America again. If America is to be a great nation. Think of what we could be. Think of what we could do. If only we finally had honest, courageous, and noble people, God-fearing people, ready to do what must be done. Join with us. Shalom.